As we age, the decisions we make about our supplements matter more than ever. For seniors across the United States, taking vitamins isn't just a routine, it's often seen as a way to protect the heart, preserve mobility, boost immunity, and maintain overall energy. But here's a surprising truth that many older adults don't realize. Not all vitamins are helpful. In fact, some of them, especially when taken in the wrong form or dose, can silently do more harm than good. Yes, vitamins are often praised as universally healthy, but just like food, their impact changes as we grow older. Some vitamins that once supported your body can start to accumulate and strain key organs like the liver or kidneys. Others can interfere with medications, increase inflammation, or even raise your risk of serious complications like fractures or internal bleeding. On the other hand, there are also vitamins that seniors absolutely must get enough of. Nutrients that play a critical role in keeping bones strong, preventing nerve damage, and fighting fatigue. That's why in today's video, we're taking a closer look at both sides of the vitamin story. 2 vitamins that could be hurting your health after 60, and 2 essential ones that every senior should consider adding to their daily routine. If you or someone you love is over the age of 60, this is the kind of insight that could make a huge difference. We're not talking about abandoning your vitamin routine altogether, just making smarter, safer choices that match the unique needs of aging bodies. Because when it comes to supplements, one size definitely doesn't fit all. Whether you're managing arthritis, low energy, high blood pressure, or just want to stay active and independent longer, stay tuned. In this video, we'll name the specific vitamins you need to be cautious with, explain why they might cause harm, and highlight 2 nutrients that could boost your strength, sharpen your mind, and support your longevity. Let's take the first step together towards smarter supplement use, because when it comes to vitamins after 60, it's not about taking more, it's about choosing wisely. The first vitamin to avoid after 60 is vitamin A in high doses, a fat-soluble nutrient that, while essential in small amounts, can quietly accumulate in the body and cause long-term harm to the liver, bones, and more. It might come as a surprise, especially for those who grew up hearing that vitamin A was good for the eyes and immune system, and in many ways, that's still true. But for seniors, excessive intake of this vitamin, especially in supplement form, can pose serious risks. Unlike water-soluble vitamins that are flushed out through urine, vitamin A is stored in the liver and fatty tissues. This means that over time, especially with daily supplements or fortified foods, it can build up to toxic levels. And toxicity isn't just a theoretical concern, it's something doctors increasingly see in older adults who are trying to stay healthy, but don't realize they're doubling or tripling their intake unintentionally. Here's the issue. Chronic vitamin A toxicity, also known as hypervitaminosis A, can lead to a host of serious symptoms: headaches, dizziness, nausea, blurred vision, and even liver damage. For seniors, whose liver function naturally declines with age, this buildup can be particularly dangerous. But it doesn't stop there. Research has also shown that high levels of vitamin A, especially in the form of retinol from animal sources or supplements, can significantly weaken bones. In fact, studies have linked excess vitamin A to an increased risk of hip fractures in older adults. This is due to its ability to interfere with vitamin D metabolism and disrupt the balance of osteoblasts and osteoclasts, the cells responsible for bone formation and breakdown. Now, many older adults take multivitamins or cod liver oil capsules thinking they're protecting their joints and eyes. But they may not realize that these products often contain preformed vitamin A, which is more potent and potentially harmful than beta-carotene, the plant-based version. And when combined with fortified cereals, dairy products, or processed foods, the daily dose can quietly skyrocket beyond safe limits. Take, for example, Patricia Greer, a 74-year-old retired school principal living in Charleston, South Carolina. Patricia had always been proactive about her health. She took a daily multivitamin, a separate eye health supplement, and added cod liver oil to her smoothies, all under the belief that she was supporting her vision and immune system. But after a routine checkup revealed elevated liver enzymes and signs of early bone thinning, her doctor asked about her supplements, and when they added up her total vitamin A intake, the number shocked them both. Patricia had been consuming over 7,000 micrograms daily, well above the tolerable upper limit for seniors. She immediately stopped the cod liver oil, switched to a multivitamin without preformed vitamin A, and focused on getting her nutrients from whole foods like carrots and sweet potatoes instead. Within months, her liver enzymes normalized, and a follow-up bone scan showed no further deterioration. For seniors, the takeaway is clear. Vitamin A is vital, but more is not better. Aim to get it from colorful vegetables rich in beta-carotene, not from stacking supplements. And always check labels. Many anti-aging or vision support products contain surprisingly high doses that could be doing more harm than good. The second vitamin to be cautious with after 60 is vitamin E, especially in synthetic form or high doses. It may sound surprising given vitamin E's reputation for being a heart-healthy antioxidant, but too much of it or the wrong kind can actually pose serious risks for seniors, particularly those on medications or with chronic health conditions. Let's unpack the science. Vitamin E exists in multiple forms, but most over-the-counter supplements use synthetic alpha-tocopherol labeled as DL-alpha-tocopherol. While this version mimics one of the natural forms of vitamin E, it's not identical, and some research suggests it may not be processed by the body in quite the same way. More importantly, high doses of this synthetic form have been linked to increased risk of bleeding, particularly when combined with blood thinners, a common prescription in older adults managing heart disease, atrial fibrillation, or stroke risk. That's because vitamin E has natural anticoagulant properties. While that might sound helpful in moderation, too much can amplify the effects of medications like warfarin or aspirin, potentially increasing the risk of internal bleeding, hemorrhagic stroke, or dangerously thin blood. And unlike water-soluble vitamins, vitamin E is fat-soluble, so any excess doesn't simply get flushed out. It stays in your tissues, quietly accumulating. There's more. Some studies have also raised concerns about high-dose vitamin E supplementation and prostate cancer risk in men, as well as interactions with chemotherapy drugs and statins. While research is ongoing, one thing is clear: seniors should approach high-dose vitamin E supplements with caution, especially if they are taking other medications or have a history of cardiovascular issues. Consider the case of Harold Bixley, a 78-year-old retired piano tuner from Springfield, Illinois. Harold prided himself on staying active and took vitamin E every day, believing it would protect his heart and help his skin stay youthful. He'd read online that it was one of the best antioxidants you could take. What he didn't realize was that the capsules he was taking contained 400 IU of synthetic vitamin E, well above the daily recommended amount. Harold also happened to be on a blood thinner following a minor heart attack 2 years earlier. Over the course of a few months, he began to notice unusual bruising on his arms and legs, some of which appeared without any impact or explanation. After one episode of severe nosebleeds and a concerning visit to urgent care, his doctor traced the issue back to his supplements. The synthetic vitamin E was interacting with his medication, reducing his blood's ability to clot properly. Under medical advice, Harold stopped taking the supplement and focused instead on getting natural vitamin E from whole foods, like sunflower seeds, almonds, and spinach. Within weeks, his bruising subsided and his INR levels returned to a safer range. He still eats a nutrient-rich diet, but avoids synthetic vitamin E entirely. The takeaway for seniors: vitamin E is not inherently harmful, but form and dosage matter more than most people realize. If you're taking a supplement, check the label. Avoid DL-alpha-tocopherol and stick with food-based sources or natural forms like D-alpha-tocopherol, only if medically advised. And always speak with your doctor if you're on medications that affect blood clotting. The first essential vitamin seniors should prioritize is vitamin D3, the powerhouse nutrient that supports bone strength, muscle preservation, immunity, and even mood. For older adults, it's not just helpful, it's vital, and yet it's also one of the most common deficiencies seen in people over 60. Vitamin D3, also known as cholecalciferol, is the most effective and absorbable form of vitamin D for humans. While our bodies can produce it naturally from sun exposure, aging skin loses some of that ability. At the same time, many seniors spend less time outdoors, wear more protective clothing, or live in areas with limited sunlight. The result? Suboptimal vitamin D levels that can quietly undermine multiple aspects of senior health. And one of the most significant roles of vitamin D3 is in supporting bone health. It helps the body absorb calcium efficiently and regulates levels of phosphorus, two minerals essential for maintaining bone density. Without enough vitamin D, even the best calcium-rich diet can fall short, leaving bones brittle and prone to fractures. This becomes especially important for women post-menopause and men over 70, whose risk of osteoporosis sharply increases. But vitamin D3 doesn't stop at the bones. It also supports muscle strength, which plays a major role in preventing falls, the leading cause of serious injury among older adults. Studies have shown that seniors with adequate vitamin D levels have better balance, stronger lower body muscles, and fewer incidents of unsteady gait or weakness. Beyond the physical, D3 also plays a part in regulating mood and immunity. Low levels have been linked to depressive symptoms, frequent infections, and slower recovery from illness, all concerns that tend to intensify with age. For seniors dealing with chronic fatigue, joint pain, or lingering seasonal illnesses, it's often one of the first markers doctors check. Let's look at the experience of Patricia Loera, a 71-year-old retired florist from Tempe, Arizona. Patricia had always loved being active. She gardened, took short hikes, and stayed social. But over the course of a year, she began feeling unusually tired, achy, and mentally foggy. She also fell twice while walking to her mailbox, which was unlike her. Her primary care physician ran a series of labs, and one result stood out. Her vitamin D levels were far below the recommended range. She started taking 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily, under her doctor's guidance, and gradually increased her time outside in the mornings. Within weeks, Patricia noticed a difference. Her energy levels began to rise, her joints felt less stiff, and perhaps most importantly, she regained the physical confidence she had lost. Her next lab results showed a clear improvement, and she began encouraging others in her senior walking group to get tested too. Patricia now refers to her D3 supplement as sunlight in a bottle, a simple, affordable way to stay strong and steady. For older adults, the takeaway is clear. Vitamin D3 is essential, especially as natural production declines with age. Aim for a daily dose that's appropriate for your needs, commonly between 1,000 to 2,000 IU, and speak with your doctor about testing your blood levels if you're unsure. Because when your vitamin D is where it should be, the rest of your body can function more like it should too. The second essential vitamin seniors should not overlook is vitamin B12, a quiet defender of nerve health, energy levels, and brain clarity. At first glance, it may not seem as critical as calcium or vitamin D, but for adults over 60, B12 is one of the most underrated and frequently deficient nutrients, and the effects of missing it can be subtle, yet serious. Vitamin B12 plays a central role in red blood cell production, neurological function, and DNA synthesis. But here's the challenge. As we age, our ability to absorb B12 from food naturally declines. The body requires stomach acid and intrinsic factor, a protein made in the stomach, to process B12 from sources like meat, eggs, and dairy. Yet by age 60, many adults produce less of these critical substances, meaning even a well-balanced diet might not provide enough. And this deficiency doesn't usually show up overnight. It creeps in slowly, often masked by common aging complaints: fatigue, forgetfulness, tingling in the hands or feet, and mood swings. Some people even develop balance problems or mild confusion, issues that can be misattributed to aging itself, when the root cause is something as simple and correctable as a B12 deficiency. More seriously, prolonged low levels of B12 can damage the myelin sheath that protects nerves, leading to permanent nerve damage, especially in the extremities. It's also been linked to increased homocysteine levels, a marker that's associated with higher cardiovascular risk. Let's take a closer look through the story of Bernard Choi, a 76-year-old retired high school counselor living in Eugene, Oregon. Bernard had always been mentally sharp, known for remembering names, birthdays, and obscure trivia from decades past, but over the last year, he began having trouble focusing, misplacing his keys more often, and forgetting conversations. He also felt more tired than usual, even after a full night's sleep, and noticed a strange, tingling sensation in his feet. At first, he chalked it up to normal aging and neuropathy, but during a routine checkup, his doctor ran a full panel of blood work, and Bernard's B12 levels were barely above deficiency range. He began taking a daily sublingual B12 supplement, a form that dissolves under the tongue and bypasses the digestive system, making it easier to absorb. Within a month, the tingling in his feet lessened and his mental fog began to lift. He started reading more again and found it easier to follow conversations without drifting. At his next appointment, his doctor noted marked improvement in his blood markers and encouraged him to continue supplementation long-term. Bernard now sees B12 not as just another pill, but as a key to staying sharp and independent. For seniors, the lesson is simple. Don't wait for symptoms to pile up. If you're over 60, especially if you follow a vegetarian diet or take medications like metformin or proton pump inhibitors, you could be at higher risk of B12 deficiency. A quick blood test can tell you where you stand, and supplementing with methylcobalamin, the bioactive form of B12, is often the best approach. Because when it comes to protecting your nerves, energy, and memory after 60, B12 is not optional, it's foundational. As we grow older, every supplement we take carries more weight, more potential to help or to quietly harm. After 60, our bodies change, and what once worked without issue can start to build up, interfere with medications, or worsen the very conditions we're trying to avoid. That's why today's message matters. We've seen how two vitamins, vitamin A in high doses and synthetic or excessive vitamin E, can do more damage than good for older adults. These nutrients, while helpful in the right amounts or forms, can become toxic, interfere with essential medications, or quietly weaken organs like the liver, kidneys, and heart. They're not vitamins you need to fear, but they are vitamins that require caution, awareness, and in some cases, complete avoidance. And on the flip side, we've also explored two nutritional essentials that should be part of nearly every senior's wellness plan: vitamin D3 and vitamin B12. These two are foundational for aging well, supporting everything from bone density and immune strength to nerve protection, mental clarity, and energy. They don't require a complex plan or an expensive routine, just smart supplementation, a bit of sunlight, and the awareness that your body needs change with time. And that's really the most important takeaway. Healthy aging doesn't come from taking more supplements, but from taking the right ones, in the right form, at the right time in life. So if you're over 60, this is the moment to pause and reassess your vitamin routine. Look at the labels, check your dosages, and don't hesitate to speak with a healthcare provider if something feels off. And because the difference between feeling tired and feeling strong, foggy and clear, unsteady and confident, could come down to just a few small changes in your supplement shelf. If you found this video helpful, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you had an experience with one of these vitamins? Are there others you've been curious about or had success with? And if this helped you think differently about your supplement routine, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you care about. You deserve to age with strength, clarity, and confidence, and sometimes that journey starts with a single smart switch.